There are three quintessential photos from the Vietnam War. One of self-immolation, one of an execution, and the other referred to as the Napalm Girl. Now, The Stringer, the man who took the photo, is an eye-opening Netflix documentary that questions who really took the Napalm Girl photo. So let's dive in. A former Saigon photo editor reveals a secret he's been plagued with for 52 years, setting off a 2-year investigation into the truth behind one of the Vietnam War's most iconic photographs. Acclaimed conflict photographer Gary Knight and a small team of journalists embark on a relentless search to locate and seek justice for a man known only as the Stringer. This is a 90-minute film that could have massive ripple effects through the photography and journalism worlds because while one Associated Press or AP photog was credited with the infamous Napalm Girl photo, an account comes to light stating that he was not really the one to shoot it. Instead, the credit should go to a freelance stringer. Now, this was a pretty riveting documentary because of the mystery and the intrigue that surround the photo. Nick Ut is credited with shooting the pic, but a former AP editor who was in Saigon during the Vietnam War stated that he was ordered to change the credit from an unknown local freelancer to that of AP staff. Now, tons of questions are raised simply through this, and I appreciate how Gary Knight, another talented photographer, approaches this controversy. Because it's not like it's just some random photo from a war. It won multiple awards, which then also launched Nick Ut into photographer royalty. Like with any investigation, at least those that are done thoroughly and correctly, the investigators here conduct interview after interview before they even approach AP. Gary Knight has a healthy dose of skepticism, not only because he knows of Nick Ut and his fame, but as a photographer himself. He just understands the importance of creative credit, particularly in the role of a freelancer. Throughout the course of the queries, we're taken to some beautiful locations within Vietnam, traveling through the bustling cities that showcase a major metropolis, which is very different from the ravaged and military-laden streets of the archival footage. And the beauty shots help to create a sense of what could have been taken from a local photographer. Seeing this expanding city and knowing that, if claims are true, the real shooter was relegated to obscurity and essentially robbed of potential future success and opportunities. Now, while watching this, my wife and I were having a discussion surrounding the ramifications if the claim turns out to be true. I mean, Nick Ut, he didn't choose his photo and then demand that AP run it. He turned in his rolls just like all the other photographers, and then the editor chose one from the pile to use. And I like that the documentary homes in on how Nick Ut would also be a victim of this miscrediting and what that could then mean for him. I'm not going to ruin the surprise of what transpires towards the end of the documentary, but the evidence gathering, it was wild. Gary Knight hired a forensic photography firm to analyze the photo to help determine who could have credibly taken the photo. The technology they use and the in-depth analysis of the rationale and findings were both impressive and remarkable. From 3D mapping to aerial and satellite triangulation, the film presents a compelling case for its findings. And while the techniques are highly complex, they verbally and visually walk us through the process so that we can fully grasp the revelations and then not walk away confused or questioning. And the production of this, it's very cinematic, which then helps in making the entire movie just more engaging and then believable. And all throughout this, it's really a story of hubris, regret, tenacity, integrity, and truth. We are given illustration after illustration of the overwhelming pride and ego of a particular AP editor, who was a master in his field, but also a terrifying presence, so that nobody would ever stand up to him. This then leads to a frustratingly unhealthy boys' club where people would rather go along with what was said than have the rectitude to stand up and speak the truth. And it's not like the investigators or even the interviewees are looking to disparage anyone. Many of the stories looked at this person with utter awe, but then it could also recognize he was fallible and makes mistakes. During the interviews, it's also encouraging to watch Gary and his partners ask the tough questions, like, why did you wait over 50 years to say something? They were never disrespectful, but also what's been maddening in some recent documentaries that I've seen, it's so many follow-up opportunities just go unaddressed, leaving the story to feel incomplete or without backing. And that didn't happen here. This film tweaked me out a bit. I was shocked by the claims surrounding the real photographer's author, but also the more we get into the investigation, we see reluctance on several individuals to even question if the claim could be true. They were more interested in towing the line and not contradicting anything, even when presented with plausible alternatives. Now, as a creative, it's terrible to see how someone may not have received the proper credit for their work, and then horrifying that someone else could have built a career off the notoriety of something that may not have been theirs. There were portions, especially towards the end, where my opinions of certain people, they changed. Learning all that we do and then being presented with some findings, some minds still held to their beliefs, which then made me lose some respect for them. This is a tragic and beautiful film. The archival footage is harrowing, showing not only stills of the devastation, but also film footage of attacks and then the victims. The investigation is also a disturbing one, but something that is carried out nobly and cautiously, not steering the query in any particular direction, but instead following the facts and then performing numerous interviews. The storytelling and narration by Gary Knight is soothing and somewhat hypnotic. He's got this velvety voice that just begs to be listened to. This is a stellar documentary, and it showcases how effective a story can be when thoroughly examined. There's no sex, a lot of nudity, some profanity, and then some terrible violence. Now, as a reminder, I don't give couch ratings to documentaries, but I highly recommend The Stringer, The Man Who Took the Photo. It should just go on your watch list right away. Okay, what are you binging right now? Anything awesome that you can recommend to me? I would love to hear about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.